This is gonna be a long video simply because I don't know what I'm doing. Ooh, shiny. All right, y'all. So we are back with another LS video. In this video, gonna be doing something that should be pretty simple. And there's gonna be the valve stem seals. So I bought the Fail Pro engine kit, and I will have it in the description below, or I will have a link to the Caprice LS Swap Amazon store, and this will be on here. I think this kit was like $250, something like that, $280, and it comes with all the gaskets you need. So I've already done the front cover gasket and seal, the rear main seal and gasket. And I used the Fail Pro oil pan gasket as well. The oil pan, the 302-2 Amazon oil pan came with the gasket, but I'm using everything Fail Pro. So also in that kit came the Fail Pro exhaust valve stem seals and the intake valve stem seals. And it came with the little straw installation piece as well. So with that, I have the valve stem compress tool, I have a magnet for the keepers, and I also have a valve stem puller tool, which clearly I did not need because the Haynes manual basically tells you to grab it with a pair of needle nose pliers. To get the valve covers off, there is 4 8mm bolts. I mean, we're just gonna get right into it. The motor had 328,000 miles, so I'm curious to see what this valve cover looks like. What's the best place? I only got one hand here. Oh, that looks a lot better than what I thought. I figured this was gonna be just gunky. It's a little bit of tarnish. That's it. This looks really good. Way better than what I thought it was gonna look. And I'm not replacing valve springs, none of that. I'm just replacing the seals because I think they got a little leak by. And after 328,000 miles, they probably do. So I'll probably do one on camera and then just do the other one. All right. All right. Can y'all let me know why the passenger side looks good, but the driver side looks worse? Just a friendly reminder that I don't know what I'm doing. So, you know, I may be a good person to watch. I may also be the wrong person to watch. Oh, good Lord. Hopefully I'm not gonna break anything. Really couldn't find no videos on how to take these off. Just install videos and no removal videos. So I'm just gonna loosen these up little by little to relieve any tension. And if I'm doing it wrong, comment below to help other people that are maybe watching this video for insight. Because right now, it seems like these are all loose, except for two, four, six Yeah, except for 6. So we have to keep that in mind, that I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just going to set the rockers and the bolts right over in here. Keep everything together and exactly where they came from, so I can put it back. This motor was running fine when I took it apart, so I'm literally just doing maintenance on it, regular stuff without digging too deep. Budget bill, and then putting it in my 81 Caprice. I'm not doing a trillion upgrade, none of that. I'm literally just putting the stuff right back. I'll probably check the push rods just to make sure that they are not clogged up and that they're not bent. But I will do that probably off camera. And then we're gonna take this and just smooth up that way. So then that is going to lead me to think that these are going to bolt into those holes, and then this is going to compress that. All right. It's probably gonna be a long video for absolutely no reason at all. This is gonna be a long video simply because I don't know what I'm doing. But this is just to show you, and I've said this multiple times during this series, if I can do it, you can do it. And this video is going to prove just that, except when it came to doing those exhaust studs, those broken exhaust studs. I had a 75% success rate though. Now all the instructions and everything say to use hand tools for this, because they say that if you use power tools that it can heat up and start breaking stuff. I don't know if my socket is deep enough for this. Oh yeah, it should be. And let me go deep. I got my magnet. So as we compress this, I need to find something to put these keepers in. So this is my first time doing anything like this. So I'm just gonna take it slow. I probably should have put some grease on these threads, but we are going to compress it. And then once it gets past a certain point, the keepers should come loose. 13 minutes. And I'm just gonna do one at a time. We will see if the valve drops in the head. If it does, I believe that we can just rotate the motor to get the valve back in the head, or I can use my magnet. All right, so as you can see, the keepers are free at last. So I should be able to just take my magnet. if the keepers are free. Just take my magnet and get the keepers out. I must not be down far enough, so let's keep it pushing. And I think that's far down is what it's going. Okay, so I got one of my keepers, two of my keepers, and I'm just gonna do one at a time. But it does seem like this side went down further than that side. Into, oh, I just pull the thing up. All right, well, if y'all were yelling that I just needed to pull up the valve stem, then you were absolutely right. So as you can see, I need to pull that one up, and then you can see that this one has started to fall down into the head. So let's get this loosened up, and we should be able to pull that one up out of the head using the magnet. If not, I should be able to rotate the engine to pull that valve seat up. So I just needed to pull the valve seat up. Now, if you was doing compressed air, then you wouldn't have had that problem because the valve seat would have been all the way up. But I probably need to rotate the motor to bring this piston up to top dead center. This is why the comments are important. So I'm probably just gonna do this one, record it, and then do the rest off because it's been like 20 minutes already, and I'm sure y'all could have watched. Well, actually, I don't know if you could watch any other videos because I couldn't find any. Well, I mean, you can watch whatever, but you know, if you want to watch professionals do this, then you can watch professionals. But if you want to watch somebody that's probably new, just like you, doing it for the first time, and this is absolutely my first time, then this is probably the video that's going to help you out the most. Because I can watch people do it all day, but until I do it, you know, that's a whole nother game plan. Watching somebody do it versus me doing it. All right. So the valve by the exhaust port is going to be the exhaust. And then the other one, of course, has to be the intake. So let's see if we can get the valve seat out without dropping the valve in the head. Now, a lot of people are going to say what they want to say, but we're going to find out what it's going to be. That's dirty. And make sure whatever you use to pull the valve seal out does not have a bunch of crud on it. Okay, so it didn't drop flush down in there. So that's good. So that is the exhaust. So in this kit, the exhaust is just regular colored. And then you want to use this to help slide it over top. That way it won't damage the seal. So let's see if my magnet will grab that. And it does not. Huh. Well, that's a problem. Let me see if I can rotate my motor to get this valve up. There we go. Ha ha. So it's back up. Cool. Let's just clean some of this gunk up that's in here. So I'm just gonna take some of this old oil and just slide it right on there like that. So we got the little straw thing on. We're gonna take the exhaust seal, and it seems like you just slide it over top, just like so. Remove your little straw thing, and boom, there you go. So do the same thing with your intake valve. Boom, intake valve off. I don't know why I put that on the floor. Take this, wipe it off. Little straw thing on. Put some oil on it. Get an intake one. And the intake is, in this case, in this kit, it is blue. Slide it over top of the straw. Seat it. Pull the straw off. Boom. So we have the intake and the exhaust valve stem seals done. That is not that bad. But yes, if you do happen to drop the valve, just rotate the motor until the valve come back up, because it's going to hit the head. I mean, it's going to hit the piston, so it's going to lift it back up. Cool. So now we're going to do the opposite of what we did. And we are going to take the respective valve springs from the position in which it was, put them back. Now, if you're going to do an upgrade of any sort, this is your time to do any upgrades to your valve springs. But the stock 328,000 mile ones, in my case, are going back on. We're going to grab the valve spring compressor, get it lined up, take a little bit of oil, put it on these threads, nut washer or washer nut. Make sure everything is looking good. Make sure it is even. My light just died. The battery life on that light is just trash. And then, y'all still recording? Cool. And just tighten it back up. Let me back y'all up a little bit. And everything is clearing. So I shouldn't have to go as far, I don't think. Oh, I definitely went deeper. All right, so now let's get these keepers in. So mine aren't, they're not exactly centered. So hopefully when it comes up, they were centered themselves. And I'm sure you have people who could do all of these in 2 minutes. But again, first time. All right, so this side is not coming up. Okay, there we go. There we go. The exhaust valve spring is coming up. All right. So that is number 2 cylinder done. That only took like 30 minutes. But if you are new, this is your first time doing it, this is probably what you can expect. You know, you can watch those 1 minute reels where people do, you know, all 16 in 1 minute. You can definitely watch those, but I feel like if it's your first time, this is probably way more realistic of what you're going to go through time-wise. That was probably 30 minutes. Just making sure that everything is right as what it could be. If you have the compressed air, or if you do the string in the spark plug port or whatever, you probably wouldn't have had that little issue with the valve dropping. But you know, that's 2 down, 14 to go. The passenger side is done. I got all new seals. All the old seals are right there. So before I move over to the driver's side, I'm going to go ahead and torque the rocker arm bolts down. And there is supposed to be 22 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and get these torqued down. I'm not doing these in any particular order. Definitely not following manufacturer's specifications, I'm sure. But I'm just going to just get them all about to the same spot. Make sure that your rocker arms are, make sure that your, not rocker arms, what are them things called? Your, make sure your push rods are seated into your rocker arms, and that you put like a little dab of oil or assembly lube in there, and then make sure your rocker arms is on the top of the valve springs where the keepers are. So I'm just going to kind of get everything where it's all about the same tension before I start torquing. I just don't want to be rotating the motor on the other side and then have some stuff over here loose, because I really don't have spot to have 2 sets of rockers up here. You know, I didn't really plan accordingly when I did this. I should have had a table set up or a spot on the table, so that way I could have just kind of laid all this stuff out. But yeah, I think I got everything about to the same tension. Springs are compressed, and then we're going to start torquing them. And I guess I'll do all the exhaust and then come back and do the intakes. I don't know what stroke this motor is on. So yeah. So if y'all know how this is supposed to go, just leave a comment below or yell at me through the screen like you're probably doing. But all right, so let me double check these. Like I said, 22 foot-pounds is what the hang manual says the rocker bolts should be torqued to. And for an 8mm bolt, that's about right. Normally 8mm bolts are around 18 to 20 foot-pounds. All right, so once I finish the driver's side, I'll be back. I'll probably do a driver's side one on camera so that we can compare how fast or how slow it was to do my first one versus how fast or how more efficient it is to do the last one. And just make note that, of course, on the passenger side, the exhaust valve is the closest to the front. But then you have to remember, or if you don't know, the heads are the same. So when it's on that side, it just flips. So where you have the front one is the exhaust. On the driver's side, the front one is the intake. So you remember, exhaust port, exhaust valve. So you got to remember that this front one is not going to be an exhaust. The front one is going to be an intake. And these valve stem seals are different. So if you were to put these on the wrong one, you're going to have some oil consumption issues because they are not the same. So just keep that in mind so you don't get stuck in the rhythm and then end up putting them on the wrong side on one side, and then you try to figure out why you are using an excessive amount of oil because you put the valve stem seals on the wrong side. Just FYI, you know, if you made it this far in the video, just put wrong side in the comments, or wrong, or side, or WS, whatever. Everything is done except for, what is this, cylinder 1. So we're gonna put the time up somewhere of how long it took to do cylinder, what is that, 2? And then we're going to see how long it takes us to do this on cylinder 1. So, you know, I feel like learn some things doing the other 6 behind cylinder 1. Ain't starting off good. That doesn't feel good at all. So I guess I'll start the timer from when we actually get this bolt threaded. Because you want to put these in at about the same tension, or they kind of get bound up and they won't go in. And again, no compressed air, no rope in the cylinder, nothing. So I started using the wrench because my 13mm socket was not deep enough once I figured out that when I was turning this bolt. Previously, the whole rod was turning. So once I tightened the rod up, well, the bolt up from the bottom, I could no longer get my socket on there. So I just started using this. Started using my wrench. So since there is no air in the cylinder, I've just been taking my pick and I just bring the valve up a little bit, and then that just releases the keepers. And I've been putting the keepers back on the same side that they come out of. I'm sure it doesn't make a difference, but that's what I've been doing. All right, why is this one being stupid? All right. So yeah, I mean, this is one of them jobs where, you know, once you get past the fear of doing something wrong the first time, the second time is easier. Then after that, you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I mean, I literally did the back 3 cylinders and the time it took me to do the first one I did. So it's just one of those things where when you do it, the next time you got to do it, you know how to do it. So take the springs off. Go ahead and grab this. Now I will say, I do think I like this this valve seal remover tool, because I can just grab it from the top and I don't have to worry about having needle nose pliers hitting on the surface of the head. So I'll move these out the way. Take my microfiber, just wipe the grime off from around there. As you can see, my valve is down in there. So I'm just going to rotate the motor and watch that valve pop up. Boom, just like that. Boom shakalaka. Then from there, this is our intake. And I'm going to take our little straws, lube everything up. Put a little bit of oil on there. Intake on, all the way down. Exhaust. Boom, boom. Take our little straws off. Boom, boom. Springs look good. Boom, boom. Boom. Oh, that's a little piece of metal. Back y'all up a little bit. Rookie mistake. Dang. I must got camera shy over here or something. All right. Take my keepers. Make sure they're right side up. Boom, boom. Take my keepers. My thumb is having a peep show over here. Take that piece of that glove off so that don't get down in the head, get stuck in the oil passage. Keeper. Keeper. Both keepers. Oh, let me take a picture for Amazon review. Might post my reel on there as well for advertisement purposes. Amazon is really good about not letting you do any sort of self-promotion in their product reviews. All right. And then one thing I saw from the videos is that once the keepers are on, take a wrench that goes on the outside of them, give it a couple of hits just to make sure that they are seated, and make sure that your socket is big enough to go on the outside of the keepers. And boom, boom. And then I guess that makes sure that the keepers are actually seated properly so they won't. So, I mean, I guess if they fly off, they'll fly off now instead of flying off when you go to run the motor, which I can only imagine wouldn't be all that great, especially if the keeper gets in one of the drain holes and then it's going to end up in your block. I did not need to take that all the way off. And yeah, I mean, that is showing 9 minutes and about 40 seconds. But I'm sure it was probably 2 minutes, probably shorter than that. But I put the time up on the screen. So I put the time of when I did cylinder 2, which was the first one I did, versus the time when I just did cylinder 1, which was the experience of 7 cylinders later. So, you know, that's what we call efficiency. So now I'm going to move to the valve cover, because I was wondering what these seals were for, and I think they're for the valve cover bolts, because I didn't realize they had like rubber grommets on the valve cover bolts. So you see how they're tapered, and these are tapered. So these are the valve cover bolt gaskets. So I'm going to get those replaced. I have valve cover gaskets as well. So we're going to clean these off a little bit. I do want to see if I can get this oil filler neck off, because it's ugly, and I wonder if the cap will just screw directly into the valve cover. If not, I think the car valve covers have a shorter one, but this long thing right here is ugly. So when we come back, the valve cover should be cleaned up, new gaskets around the mountain bolts, new valve cover gaskets. Hopefully this cap will be directly on that valve cover there, and then they'll be a little bit more cleaned up, and we'll be getting them installed back on our 328,000 mile Gen 3 5.3. We have the coil pack brackets and the coil packs back on the valve cover. This actually looks better than what I thought it was going to look. Looks a whole lot cleaner. With the oil cap, you can see the O-ring, so I don't see why the oil would leak from in between there, but it may. yeah, maybe by Christmas we'll hear it run. But I need to get this motor in this car before it gets too cold outside. So y'all know what the plan is. Let's see if it folds out that way. Maybe it does, maybe it don't. But if I don't get this motor in before it get cold, I'm probably not gonna be out there in 30-degree weather trying to get this motor in. If it was 20 years ago, maybe. I'm old, I don't wanna be out in the cold. So, like everything you do, think, build, enjoy. Peace.